Hello, YouTube and TikTok. Happy Saturday, guys. I thought today I would hop on and do a YouTube live. Somebody requested that in the comments not too long ago. So, I decided today was going to be the day. I had time in my calendar. Sorry, this last week I've been super busy. But so I'm just lounging around the house today and I have time to do a live. So, for those of you guys who are new, because there are a lot of new subscribers to the channel, my name's Amanda. And I am a neurolinguistic programming practitioner, a hypnotherapist, emotional freedom technique practitioner, so tapping, as well as a certified life coach. So I do have some diplomas in how the subconscious mind works and how to help people reach success. And I happen to absolutely love law of assumption and teaching in those methods, as well as explaining what some things mean. So one thing we are going to touch on today is a few subscribers' questions, as well as your questions that you stick in the chat. Priority to members of the channel, I'll answer your questions first. And I also give members priority when you comment under my videos and ask a question. I'll give those ones a priority when I answer them. So if you would like to know when I'm going live to answer your questions for free, then definitely subscribe and hit the notification, because then you'll be notified when I go live. Just before we dive into it, guys, we do have a free course, How to Identify Your Blocks to Manifest Anything Fast. I've actually created the course myself. It's going to help you to build your mental diet. It's going to help you figure out what's blocking you and what isn't. One thing that always sort of trips people up is questioning. Questioning is a block. Now, I'm not talking about questioning why is the sky blue or how to do a mental diet or, those kind of questions. I'm talking like if you're manifesting an SP, questioning, do they like me? Do they not like me? Those sorts of questions are going to stop you, because you need to be clear in your head what your specific person is thinking about you, okay, and what they want with you, and be secure in that. So questioning why they haven't called you or if they want to be with you really isn't going to help, okay? Hello, I'm good. How are you? On YouTube here. I'm going to say Agata. I'm great, actually. Happy Saturday. So the next thing I wanted to dive into, guys, we have a Facebook group, Create Your Future with Amanda, Law of Attraction Hacks. It has success stories in it. We've been posting all of our success stories in it. We encourage you to come on in, post your success stories. Let's keep the positivity going. Success stories are so important because they keep you in the state of the wish fulfilled. And they're like a catalog. When you're filling your mind and being happy for other people and their positive results, you're creating that for yourself at the same time that you're reading it. That's why I can't stress enough. Surround yourself with positive people. Do not complain. Do not surround yourself with complainers, because, has it ever felt like when somebody else is talking and then all of a sudden what they say manifests in your reality? That's because when you're listening to someone, you're actually repeating what they say in your head when you're listening. So, if you're going to be listening to someone who's negative, then, you're going to have to clean up anything that you agree with them with, anything that you're sort of relating to, or, saying that it's true or accepting as a belief. Okay. So just keep that in mind. So, 100%, you want to always fill yourself with positive, thoughts, intentions, positive things. Okay. Take in positive so you can create positive in your life. Okay. And I'm not sure if this is for you, but my course, How to Create the Relationship You Love, as well as my affirmation tracks, are all on sale right now. My techniques work. They help people to get genuine good results. Okay. So my course will help you to create a personalized mantra for your situation. And then you can accompany it with any of my intention tracks. There's one of how to get your ex back, and there's one to get rid of the third party. Right. So definitely check that out. Link in bio on TikTok, link in the description over there. Same thing with the free course on both. And anyone on TikTok, guys, we have tons of full-length videos over on the YouTube channel. Okay. So now that we dove into this, hey, John, how are you? I'm happy to see you too. You've been around for a while. I recognize your name. So one thing that I've actually been seeing a lot of lately is questioning about no one to change but self. What does this mean? Okay. And I'm going to go into it. Okay. So no one to change but yourself means, you're not going out to the 3D and trying to change somebody and saying, hey, you know what, Jerry, you need to change this. This is the boundary I'm going to give you. No, what it means is you do all the work in the 4D. Okay. So one thing, everyone talks about self-concept. Yes, self-concept is so incredibly important. You need to make sure your self-concept's on point. But what I constantly hear is, Amanda, my self-concept's on point. Why isn't this working? Because you still need to change your belief, assumptions, and what the other person is thinking, okay? But it's not just yourself. You're not just changing yourself. You're also changing your assumptions about the other person, okay? So for instance, right, let's say you want to be in a relationship with Jerry, but you don't think Jerry wants to be with you. You need to change that assumption, okay? That's so incredibly important. So you are changing yourself and your self-concept about yourself, as well as your assumptions about the other person. So the statement, no one to change by self, needs an explanation, because if you were just say, no one to change but yourself, right? To someone who really didn't know how all of this works, what ends up happening is they think, oh, well, all I need to change is me and my self-concept. Well, no, that is always, it's all gonna, it includes changing your beliefs and your, assumption about the other person. So incredibly important. Yeah. Yeah. And, the other question that we get quite a bit that I've been seeing recently is, how do you become the version of the person, of what you would have? And I've actually got a subscriber question I'm going to read about this one in a minute here. Just I'm going to touch on this quickly. So being the version of who you are if you already had it, okay? So right now, right, so I'm married to Andrew, okay? So I don't worry that if he wants to be with me, I don't worry if he's going to be there tomorrow. I don't worry. It's totally calm and it's peaceful. There's no worrying. There's no impatience, because I have what I have. Okay. So basically, to find out who you would be if you already had what you wanted, it's like, what would you not be doing? Well, you wouldn't be worrying. You wouldn't be impatient. You wouldn't be checking the 3D. The other thing is, you wouldn't be reacting, right? You wouldn't ever go, oh, well, does he really love me? Because as soon as you start questioning if they love you, then you're no longer in the living from the end of being in a relationship. You're now living from the end of rejection, because you're questioning if they love you, right? So to be the person, the version of yourself, you wouldn't react. So for instance, here's a really clear example. Let's say that you're in a relationship with somebody, but it's not a committed relationship. Maybe you're looking at it like it's a friends with benefits, okay? And you assume that the other person doesn't want to be with you because they just don't want to commit. They just want friends with benefits. They want the cow without, they want the milk without buying the cow type of thing, okay? If you look at it that way, yeah, I would be very upset too. I would feel used, okay? But you can also look at it a different way, because you're the creator of your reality. You could look at it like, okay, look it, we're dating and they're just not quite ready for a relationship, but they're going to be. They're going to be over their baggage and they're ready to be with me. Now, if you look at your situation where, you're in a friends with benefits, but you shift it and say, no, we're dating. Okay. We're actually dating because this is leading into a relationship. If you start looking at your situationship that way, I'm not angry anymore. I'm actually fine with it. Okay. And that's what you have to do to shift of friends with benefits to a relationship. You have to start assuming that the other person wants to be with you. And if you can't get your head around assuming they want to be with you, then, I can't help you. You have to change your story and you have to believe your new story, because you're the only person in your reality that you're actually convincing is you, right? And so let's dive into one of these questions. And guys, feel free to ask your questions if you would like to in here. So I will answer your questions in the chat too. So he says, hey, Amanda, I have one query and I'm scratching my head around it for a while. Please pay attention and if possible, make a video on it. Sure, I'm answering it now. So I have been seeing different coaches telling your techniques don't matter, your being matters, but no one is talking about how to be in being. Recently, I heard from someone saying, be in identity of already having what you want and then affirm from that state. But to be in state, we need to use affirmations or techniques to get into that state. Isn't this weird loop? First, coaches are saying don't affirm all day long, but then to get into the state, you actually need to affirm, please help. I will definitely help you. You have to affirm. You have to. Your thoughts create your reality. End of story. Your thoughts create your assumptions. Your thoughts create your beliefs. Your thoughts will change your beliefs. Repetition of a thought will change your belief. There is no way around this. I know some coaches, and I sure hope none of them on my team tell you you don't need to affirm, because you do need to do a mental diet. And everybody on my team should know that. I'm a big, big fan of it, okay? Because your thoughts and your words are the only thing in your reality that really create, okay? And they'll actually even create your emotion. And then your thoughts with that created emotion are going to create, solid and create things and harden them into facts. So you do need to do intentions, okay? So you can do intentions from any state, okay? Sometimes they'll be more powerful than some states than others, okay? So like for instance, right? Let's say, you just had a really bad day, things weren't going your way, a lot of things manifested that were just terrible. And if you're manifesting from that state, you're probably going to be in a little bit of a state of lack, because you're going to be doubting that, none of that and any of this LOA is true. So you're probably going to be fighting yourself on it. Well, that's fine. Fight through it, right? So the other way that you could make this a lot better, from a better state, is you would go through and create a little list of little manifestations every day that you want to see. And as these little manifestations happen, okay, and you get that feeling like, oh my goodness, I totally manifested that, boom, affirm from that state. Okay. That state, you're actually affirming from the state of the wish fulfilled. And that's going to be, way more easier for you to affirm something you have resistance to, because basically you're going, no, I'm powerful. I got this. Anything is possible. Right. So regardless, you can affirm from any state. Okay. And it's going to work. Okay. Because you basically, okay, your thoughts, your subconscious mind is basically overhearing your thoughts 24/7 constantly. Okay. And if you say, okay, well, look at, what? I can't find my phone. Even if you're holding your phone, looking for your phone with the flashlight, you're not going to see it. Your subconscious mind is going to block it out for you. So your thoughts are basically giving your subconscious mind instructions on what to show you in your 3D. Your thoughts are so incredibly important. Now, you know what? I know some coaches say that. I have no idea why they say don't affirm. I've seen video titles going, oh, if you're affirming, you're doing it wrong. It's like, I don't know if that's clickbait or what, but you need to affirm. Your thoughts create your reality, right? Techniques don't manifest things. Techniques are, things that we do to help us manifest, to basically focus on stuff. So we sell courses here at Create Your Future. And it's a great little technique, because if you like sitting down with a pen and paper and like basically filling out a workbook and really spending time on, scripting, or spending time on building what your 3D is going to look like in writing, these courses are great for you, right? If you're more of the auditory person, there's affirmation tracks that we have. Mine in general, I always say the affirmation once and then I repeat it again so you can say it with me. So you're actually doing the work with me and you're becoming involved if you're a more auditory person like me. So, there's all these different, ways that you can actually manifest. So the technique is really just like, what do you actually like doing? Right? If you like scripting, script. If you like visualize, visualize. Okay. Me personally, not a big fan of visualization. Haven't done it. I've manifested a lot. Right? And I really haven't visualized anything. The beauty is, okay, if I was to say to you right now, don't think of a blue duck. You just thought of a blue duck. Okay. Because your subconscious mind will automatically visualize. Okay. And the way I just said that statement bypassed your conscious mind right to your subconscious mind. Okay. So your subconscious mind will create pictures automatically for you from your affirmations themselves. Okay. So your affirmations and your thoughts are incredibly important. They're incredibly important. Okay. And then you can also say too, you know what? I intend that I always think positive about my situation. I intend I stay on a mental diet. So no matter what you do, you have to do a mental diet. You have to. Okay. If you're spending 4 hours scripting in the morning or throughout the day, and then all throughout the rest of the day on the bus and everything, you're like doubting, thinking the opposite of what you were scripting, then you're just undoing it all. You're giving your subconscious mind mixed signals and what's supposed to manifest, right? So think of your thoughts as giving somebody instructions, okay? So think of your thoughts, okay, so here's a good example, a genie in a bottle. You've got a genie, okay? And your genie is right here in front of you, okay? Every single thought that you have, you're basically saying to your genie, this is what I want. Everything you say, you're saying, this is what I want to your genie. And your genie remembers absolutely everything you've ever thought and ever said. because it's a very, very good hard drive. And it has to, when you make a declaration for something, it has to work in and out of all of those previous beliefs and assumptions and thoughts that you've had. Okay. So here's the other thing. Okay. It's very important to notice when you do create a declaration for something, all the things that are opposite that show, because those things are there to show you what you need to change in your beliefs and your assumptions. And when you start, basically knocking each one of those off one by one, you're getting closer and closer and closer to your manifestation. Okay. So when you say, look, you know what, I intend Jerry wants a relationship. And then the next day, Jerry walks up out of the blue and says, I don't want a relationship. That's because you made a declaration for it and he's got to show up somehow. Okay. Because it's got to be delivered. The relationship part got delivered, but then also, you thinking Jerry didn't want it got delivered as well. So that's going to be the opposite. And that's fine. You just say, no, I intend that Jerry's over his baggage, wants a relationship, and then you move on. And you keep doing that until every single thing in your 3D reflected back is no longer the opposite or resistance to what you're actually looking for. Okay. So, I can't speak for other coaches, but you have to do a mental diet. You have to do affirmations. You have to. There's no way around this. I'm sorry. It is what it is. Okay. The only way to reprogram your subconscious mind is through repetition of your thoughts. Okay. So the neurons that fire together wire together. Okay. So there is no, and when people say, oh, well, you know what, just say it once and let it go. Well, if you have no resistance, that works. If you have any resistance or doubts, that's not going to work. Okay. That's very, very important. So yeah. So I've tackled that one. I intend that everybody, gives clear information. On this team here, we have a lot of coaches that are neuro-linguistic programming practitioners, hypnotherapists, certified life coaches, and I've also taught them how to do a coaching session as well. So, and also, if any of you guys do coaching with any of our coaches and you're not happy, definitely let my support team know. Okay. We'll definitely take a look into it. So that's the benefit with doing coaching with my team here. So a lot of us are actually trained and not just, some people doing videos. And we've been doing this for nearly 10 years now. So we've got some experience in getting you guys results, right? So let's take a look here. So we got a question. How did I create my SP to want a 3P that doesn't even want him? Oh, it's been months of me persisting and he's still on her, it seems. I just met him a year ago, but he's known her for 8 years. What can I say? Well, so how did you create that? Like, what's your story? Why do you think they're together? Or why do you think he wants him? What did he say? Right. So basically, I mean, the short answer, other than digging into your thoughts of how you've actually created this, because this is why, again, coaching is so important, because we can all create a third party differently. Okay. Our thoughts create our reality. Okay. So if we're going to reverse engineer to figure out how you actually created something, we need to know what thoughts you had to create that. Okay. So for example, I remember years ago I had a client and, actually more than one, this was their story, like, oh yeah, my SP called me. They said they loved me. They wanted to marry me and everything. And I was like, oh yeah. And then they were like, but the next day they said, no, that they didn't mean it. And I was like, wow, how did you create that? And they were like, well, I don't know. What do you think? What do you think? And I said, well, it's your thoughts. Like, so let's walk through it. They called you, you had this conversation. Yep. I said, well, then what happened? And they said, well, when I was hanging up, I said, oh, they don't mean it. They're drunk. Oh, well, of course, the next day, that's the text that came through. I'm sorry. I had too much to drink. I didn't mean it. Right. So everyone's situation is unique of how you created what's showing up in your reality. But I mean, just right now, I would say the first thing I would look at is your self-concept, right? So what is your self-concept when it comes to relationships? Okay. So for instance, mine is I'm an amazing girlfriend and wife. Every guy that I want wants to be with me because I'm good enough. I'm amazing. Okay. I'm a really good person. Okay. And, and what's your story about them, right? Is your story that they want to be happy? I mean, is your story that, I always, the guy I want's always unavailable, that sort of thing. So, the best intention comes from what your actual complaint is, right? But I mean, at the end of the day, I would really just say, look, he wants to be with me because I'm good enough. And he wants me because I think he doesn't want to work through his trauma. Oh, there we go. And she's familiar with him. Okay. Yeah. So exactly. So I intend he's over his baggage and ready for a relationship with you because he wants to be. He wants to have the safe relationship with you. You're new, you're exciting. He wants to be with you. Okay. And his trauma, you know what? We've got to hold people up a little bit more, okay? Instead of holding them small, we want to hold them big, okay? He's a grown man. He's over his trauma and he wants a relationship with you. He's over his baggage, okay? He wants a relationship. He's ready for a relationship. Why deny him the beautiful time of being with you? Because you're amazing, okay? We know that. I know that. This is your desire. You're allowed to have it. And you're allowed to say that he wants to be with you. And you're allowed to say, no, you know what? He's over his trauma and assume that he wants to be with you. And you know what? She doesn't want him. He's got enough self-esteem and self-confidence to say, no, you know what? She doesn't want me. I don't care. I don't want her either. I want you. And it's not that he wants to be with you because she doesn't want him. He wants to be with you because he wants to be with you. Okay, regardless of what she wants. Okay, let's go with that, right? So I'm glad that was eye-opening for you. Yeah. So help with weight loss. I go to the gym a lot and track calories. How do I change my weight? Well, it's funny. I was talking to a weight loss coach a while back, and we were talking, and it was a friend of a friend or whatever. And we were talking. They were talking about. They were new to law of assumption, and basically we came to a common ground. They were saying, the people in their weight loss program get more results when they think positive and have goals and believe what they're doing is going to help them lose weight. And once you do that, that will automatically happen. So, basically you need to okay, sorry. Baby cupcakes. I will go back to your comment here and I will answer it. Okay. So basically you need to say, look at everything that I do, aids me in losing weight. I lose, 2 pounds a week. Okay. For making healthy choices and go to the gym. Now, remember, if you say that, you're going to the gym to lose that weight, then you're going to have to go to the gym to lose that weight. So remember, your subconscious mind is going to hold you to anything. It's called double binding in NLP. Okay. So if you say, well, look at, I've got to eat vegetables to lose weight, then you're going to have to eat those vegetables to lose weight. Okay. So it's best, I think, to say something like, look at, I always make healthy choices automatically. I don't even need to think about it. Actually, you could even just go further and just say, look at, regardless of what I do, I always maintain this weight. Regardless of what I do, I always lose 2 pounds a week. Right. And then, you have to watch it, what you say throughout the day, and what your stories are. So one good thing that I've heard people say, in the past is pray before you eat a meal. Say, okay, well, look at this meal is going to nourish my body. It's going to help me to lose weight and I'm going to feel amazing. Right. So, you've also got to break down all your stories. What are your stories? I mean, if your story is everything makes you fat, then everything is going to make you fat regardless. Right. Because your subconscious mind is going to have to do exactly what you say. So when it comes to manifesting, things like, okay, let's say you've been overweight all your life or you've had money struggles all your life, you are basically plowing through, a lifetime of thoughts and beliefs and assumptions. Okay. So the best thing to do is to write down all your beliefs, right? And get clear on what you actually believe right now, and then change them to positive beliefs and start reading that new page, your new list, because you're going to be reprogramming your subconscious mind. So I was never great at manifesting money until basically the last 10 years. Okay. And then it completely shifted and completely turned around in so many different ways because, I put some work to it. I literally put some work to it. I sat down and I shifted my story. Okay. So I had debt, thousands and thousands of dollars of debt and everything. And now I've got a perfect credit rating and I manifest money easily. Okay. So sometimes you got to clear out that old story. Same with health for me. I don't know. You guys know I've struggled with my health up until this year. I finally got the last piece of the puzzle. And now, except for minor little things that really aren't a big deal, I've shifted my health story completely. But I had to go through all those years of those stories that I kept holding, because when you create a belief, your subconscious mind will put it on autopilot for you. Okay. It'll be like, don't worry, I've got this, because you've installed it. Okay. So you need to uninstall it. Okay. You need to reprogram yourself. Okay. So you got to become aware of what beliefs you have, and then you need to rewrite those beliefs. Okay. So cupcakes here. How do I change a pattern of not being wanted? Okay, so first of all, you need to say, I'm wanted. I am wanted. Okay. And then you need to catch yourself. You need to catch yourself every time you start to hear yourself that I'm not wanted. Okay. So whether it be like, I don't know, in a relationship, you're dating, right? And then, you're like, okay, well, nobody is sending me messages because I'm not wanted. No, people always send me messages because I'm wanted. Okay. So every day you wake up and you're like, this is where I'm wanted. And you keep repeating that you wanted, and you always see evidence of being wanted in whatever area you want to see it in, and it'll start showing up. Okay. You just need to keep saying it and repeating it and persist in that thought, and not react to the 3D. It's funny. I was like, okay, so so for some reason, okay, like I've had this story, okay, when I go to like restaurants and stuff and I'm on a wait list, I'm worried about being forgotten. Or when I go to like the lab to get like lab work done and I'm like in a lineup, and I'm like on a wait list, like I was worried about being forgotten, right? So what I do now is every time I go, I'm like, no, they won't forget me. They always remember me. I'm always a priority. I'm always put first. Okay. And I've just got to catch myself and change that story. And then I did. And now when I'm on a wait list, say for a table or something, or I'm waiting, like my number in line, I'm no longer worried. Like that feeling went away because I've repeated it so many times. Because if you think to yourself, you're like, oh, I'm always forgotten. I'm like, oh, that doesn't feel good there. No, I'm always remembered. People always put me first. I'm a priority. I'm like, oh my goodness, that feels so much better, right? So you say it, and then what happens is it manifests, and you see it, then it becomes a belief, right? Does that answer your question, baby cupcakes? Was that your question? You're always on my TikTok lives. Thank you. I appreciate that. Let's take a look here. Oh, thank you. Thank you for the 9 roses. I appreciate it. I love your name too, baby cupcakes. I love cupcakes. Let's take a look here, guys. So you're welcome. You're welcome for answering your question. Hi, Shannon. Happy to see you too. You talk about how to combine the law of attraction and law of assumption. As I learn more, to me, they are the same. Yeah. Just different terms. You know what, Shannon? I was just thinking about this question earlier today. So everyone is you pushed out. Here it is. So what? And it's true. The more you learn, the more it is the same. Now, people are going to say it isn't, and I know, because what happens is like for some reason, all of a sudden, chakras got brought into the law of attraction. It's like, really, where'd those come from? So people have added to the law of attraction and changed it and added this and added that, and so basically, at the end of the day, law of attraction is like attracts like. You will attract what you're putting out. If your vibration, I want Jerry to be in a relationship with me. He wants to be with a relationship with me. You're vibrating at that level. You're going to be in that relationship. I think law of attraction and law of assumption are the same thing. Your thoughts create, end of story. You attract what you put out there. Okay. I think sometimes people will get too technical, dig too much into it. I mean, your thoughts, your assumptions, your beliefs, you have your thoughts, they turn into assumptions, and assumptions repeated and thoughts repeated, create beliefs, right? So yeah, great minds think alike. Yeah, I mean, it's simple. Like, and and I think a lot of people complicate it, and you can have a lot of great conversations out there with people that think they're two different things, but honestly, I don't think they are. I mean, your thoughts create your reality. What you put out to the universe is going to come back to you, and that's really what it is, right? I know, Laura, thought transmission is real. So actually, that's the title of it. Let's talk about it. One thing I see out there is like thought transmission's a technique, but it isn't. It's the basis of how this works. It is the basis of law of assumption. Okay. Thought transmission is always happening all the time. The one thing you can't do, okay, is you can't look at it from any other point of view. Okay. You can only look at it from your point of view with your quantum bubble, because only your thoughts are going out. Okay. As soon as you start giving other people power in your quantum bubble to create. Okay. So as soon as you say, well, I can, that you start thinking people can create in your reality, you start giving away your power. Okay. So only the way that you can look at it is that you're the only one in your quantum bubble, period. Okay. So I see people out there saying, oh, I will manifest for you. Well, they can't. Nobody can manifest for you. You're still manifesting because you have to believe that they can manifest for you. So you're still manifesting it, okay? Nobody can manifest for you except for you in your reality, right? And that's so incredibly important, right? It's you don't give away your power. Okay, so as soon as you start, forgetting that you're the only one in your reality, that you're broadcasting tower, and your thoughts are going out in your reality, nothing is coming back. The only thing that's coming back is like the reflection of your previous thoughts. Okay, that's it. Okay, and if you always look at it and maintain that view, okay, then you're going to always be in good shape. If you start thinking, oh, I co-create, and oh, somebody else can create in my reality, you are going to mess yourself up, because all of a sudden you're going to be giving your power away. Okay, and you're going to be like, oh, well, who can manifest in my reality? Nobody that you don't give permission to and give your power away to. Okay, so anybody out there says they can manifest for you, I'm sorry, they can't, because you're actually manifesting, because you have to believe they can manifest for you, which you're manifesting that. So if that helps. But yeah, no, and you know what? I grew up Christian, religious, okay? And, and the one thing that everyone as you pushed out thought transmission actually reminds me of is the Holy Ghost. The Holy Ghost goes and does all these things, in religion, right? So I grew up Christian, and it was like, oh wow, like the Holy Ghost, everyone as you pushed out, my subconscious mind is out there, like, basically like controlling all these things for me, right? And nothing in my reality is by chance, and everything in my reality is controllable and moldable by me, and I have that power, Now, I know I've seen comments of people say, well, if everyone's me pushed out and no one really loves me, then then there's no such thing as true love. Well, again, everyone as you pushed out isn't just a belief. It is how the law of assumption works. It's everybody is conforming to your assumptions and your beliefs. It's always been happening. So, it is what it is, right? Yeah. So let's see here. Thank you. I'm starting to feel and experience that they are one. Yeah. And they're the same. Exactly. They are one. Right. And I mean, we don't need to overcomplicate this at all. I really don't. At the end of the day, what you think, what you assume, what you believe is going to show up in your reality. Right. So, and never forget that, guys, even though there's no one to change but self, you still need to change your assumptions of the other person. You can work on your self-concept all day long, but if you think they have trauma and they're not going to commit to a relationship, then that's what's going to happen. So there's been so many times I wander around, I love myself, amazing, and then all of a sudden somebody doesn't want to be in a relationship. Why? Because I've made an assumption about them, right? So we just change that. I mean, I've got a great self-concept as a coach and a teacher, and there's still people out there that don't believe this because I have that assumption that has nothing to do with my self-concept, right? So and I intend everybody believes this and steps in their power when they're ready. I do think, sometimes it's a defense mechanism. People aren't quite ready. They're a little bit stuck in victim mode and they're defending and they're like, protecting themselves, which is fine. But when everyone, gets over their trauma and they're ready to make a change and be responsible for the things that happen in their life, then I know they all show up in due time, right? So I really love the idea of being relaxed and knowing it's all done. What are your thoughts on being relaxed and basically not doing anything but exactly what makes us at peace and happy moment by moment? No, I agree with that too. I love being relaxed and knowing it's all done, but that also comes with a mental diet, right? I spend most of my days relaxed and knowing that it's done, but then I check the 3D and I just reaffirm what I want. I mean, it's the same as, you have moments like there's not one day that you don't doubt or 1 minute you doubt, right? So you want to be in that relaxed state knowing it's done. And when doubts come up, you just reaffirm what you're looking for. You just deal with them, right? I mean, the whole process is you make a declaration for something, okay? You're confident, it's done, it's happening. But when you start having, doubts or anything that shows up in the opposite of 3D, you just go ahead and manifest or just go ahead and affirm what you actually do want. Reaffirm that. It's always going to be. I mean, how many years have I been married to Andrew now? Every once in a while, a doubt will come up and I'm like, no, he does want to be with me, or whatever the thought may be. You know what I'm saying? So, the mental diet and affirming has never been something that you should do in a frazzled, crazy state. Not at all. It's always supposed to be done from a state of, feeling like what you want. Again, your thoughts and your intentions are basically the direction for your subconscious mind. Okay, so can you just have nothing go through your mind? Absolutely not. Right? Okay. So I hope that answers your question. But yeah, no, I mean, do what makes you peaceful and happy moment by moment. To be living in the state of the wish fulfilled, it is actually, what is it? It's not worrying. It's not being impatient. It's the absence of all of that. It's the absence of being at peace and feeling like it's done. Okay. But you may need to still do a mental diet. Okay. I know you still need to do a mental diet, right? Yeah. Let's see. Can we ask for favors from an ex through thought transmission? He owes me a lot. I need him to repay me. Absolutely. You know what? Absolutely. You can do anything through thought transmission. And the beautiful thing is they think it's their idea. Okay. So you know what? It's like, so your ex, it's like they always want to do nice things for you. And they always do favors for you because they feel like they owe you a lot, right? So what's your ultimate guide to manifest an SP through thought transmission? Okay, so first of all, of course, and I'm sure I don't need to repeat this, but work on your self-concept. I'm sure the whole entire coaching community has that covered. One thing that we don't hear enough of, okay, is you need to change what you think the other person's thinking. So my ultimate guide would be sit down and write, what is your SP thinking? What do they think about you? Why do they want to be with you? What can you hear them say to you? What are you guys going to do together? Like really spend some time getting inside their head and telling them what they think. So, they want to be with me. I can hear them tell me that I'm the best person they've ever been with, that we're meant to be, we're soulmates. Like seriously, take a moment and say, my SP is thinking this, and then start writing out a list. Okay. And read that, and they will repeat it back to you and it'll be amazing. And they think it's their idea. Okay. Yeah. You're welcome. I love you too, MD. I love all of you guys. I really enjoy, helping people change their lives and, reading all the success stories. They're just really amazing. Like, honestly. And I know all the coaches here absolutely care about each and every one of you guys. I mean, it's not easy, basically getting in front of a camera and doing a video and putting yourself out there for the whole entire world to judge, or for you to judge yourself because everyone is you pushed out. But, and that's what we do, right? Because we want to make a difference in the world. We want to be the positive change, right? So, you guys are amazing. It's literally 3 a.m. I got a notification. Thank you. Thank you. Thanks. I love you guys too. I'm glad you guys love the channel. Anyways, guys, you guys are all amazing. Thank you for being here today. Please comment your questions under my videos. I'm more than happy to answer them. And thanks, baby cupcakes. You're sweet. All of you guys are amazing. And I intend everybody got an aha breakthrough moment in this call, this video today. And I intend that if something extraordinary happens for everybody. And when it does, come back to this live and comment underneath. Okay. Anyways, guys, we'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.